Hi everyone, and welcome back to another layout update video on a few new additions that I've got for the layout recently. So I picked up a brand new set of Accurascale Wagons. These are the new coal hoppers that they've recently released. I've got 2 packs of 3 in grey, and they're looking very, very nice. And these are to add to the other empty coal wagons I've got, just so I can increase the length of that brake. And then very excited to have a look at this. I also got myself a LNER J68, which is another brand new locomotive from Accurascale that I'm sure everyone's seen. So I was really excited to get this one out and have a look at what's going on. And of course they've got all the information in the booklet that you get with the engine, which is really comprehensive. I love getting stuff like this so you can learn a bit about it. And these interested me because they used to run around East Anglia, which is where I'm from originally. These are the different DCC sound functions. I've got an analog model, so I didn't need to worry too much about that, but I put that on there just in case that's of interest. And here's the locomotive out and on the tabletop, so it just looks straight away another winner from Accurascale. It's just looks awesome, so good. I noticed straight away that this felt really heavy, so it should have some good haulage capabilities. So these were used for suburban passenger duties around London and East Anglia, and also for shunting and short trip freight work. So I was just having a look at the locomotive here, and I realised that you can pop the cab roof off, and there's some unbelievable detail in the cab. You can see the individual detail on the gauges and the dials in the cab. All the controls are modelled there, and this makes it so easy to add a crew in, which is great. The locomotive also comes with these headboards for effectively destination boards, so they'd say where the train was heading around London, and this little pair of tweezers to fit the DCC sound chip or DCC decoder if you want to do that. So I headed up to the layout now, and I put a couple of these wagons on the track, and you can see just how free running they are. I didn't realise I had such a gradient on this layout, but they just slid all the way down to the other end, which is great to see, but shows that I maybe didn't have my track completely level. So I've got the engine on the track now, and I'm just going to give it a run in. Now I did notice that I think this is going to need a little bit of a run just to get it nice and smooth. It is smooth straight out the box, but at an absolute slow crawl. It was occasionally just stopping over some point work, but I could still get it pretty slow. You can see I'm trying to get it as slow as possible there, and then speeding it back up. At that point it stopped, so I had to give it a little bit of juice to get it moving again. It just sounded like something was maybe a little bit tight, almost rubbing a little bit. So I think, I've had this with quite a few models. Just give it a blast on the rolling road and it soon loosens anything up, which is what's recommended in the instructions anyway. But looking awesome. Can't wait to get this on the weathering bench. Already looks like it's smoothing out a little bit there, just getting it running backwards and forwards. I tend to give it a blast up and down the layout for 10 minutes, and then I'll get it on the rolling road for about half an hour in each direction, which usually does the trick nicely. So while the J68 is running in, I will tell you a little bit about the sponsor of today's video, which is Reedley. So Reedley is an app that you can download on your phone or your tablet that provides unlimited access to over 8,000 magazines and newspapers for a monthly fee. So personally, I've been subscribed to Reedley for over 5 years now. Here are some of the titles that I like to read up on the screen at the minute. It's perfect for hobbies such as model railways, and all the main modelling magazines are on there. All the heritage railway and general railway related magazines are there too, so you can keep up to date with the latest news of the industry, and it's perfect for finding and looking at prototype photos and interesting articles. Every time I'm weathering something or doing a project, I can easily pull up all the reference photos that I need to by zooming in on the tablet, for example. You can also get unlimited access to past issues all in one easy location. So in the video description and in the comments, you will find a link to a 2-month free trial that you can cancel at any time to see if Reedley is for you. and you can use that to have a look at Reedley's incredible library at no cost. So the link below for 2 months of free access with the flexibility to cancel at any time. Right, let's see if the J68 is running now, and we'll get it onto the weathering bench. Right, the J68 is running now. I'm just going to take it off the rolling road and get it onto the track. And luckily it's significantly smoother. So I'm just going to give it another quick blast up and down. One thing I noticed was those really nice metal wheels that this has got. They're not plastic like you get on a lot of engines. They're metal, which is really nice. They just look a lot more realistic. So we should be good to go on this now. I think I can get it onto the bench and start weathering it. But I was just testing the haulage capabilities of this quickly as well. So I've got 6 coaches here, and I also added a few more after this without filming it. But the engine hauls this without problem, which is the max I think the prototype would really haul anyway. So I think this is perfect. So I'll just leave you with a couple of shots of it moseying by, but I think you'll agree it looks pretty nice. Here I have some Hunt magnetic couplings that I picked up from West Hill Wagon Works, and I use these on the previous Accurascale wagons that I've got. So these are the ultra close coupled ones. So I just popped out the old tension lock couplings on the wagons and fitted these in between each pair of wagons on the rake, and then I've added a KD style coupling on each end. But you'll see just how close these are. They're basically buffer to buffer now, and they look way better. And because the wagons have almost like an ergonomic coupling system fitted underneath, you can literally have them this close and they'll get round tight curves without any issues. I really like on these wagons that they've got the interior looks very nicely moulded too. So I'm just going to gloss the J68 now, and then I'm going to make, while that's drying, I'm going to make a start on the wagons, and I'm going to aim to get them looking similar to this rake of other Accurascale wagons that I've got. So I'm going to start by covering them in rust, and this is going to look over the top, but we're going to tone it back after. So I'm using the paints that I've just showed there, a Tamiya brown, and then the rust weathering powder from Humbrol. And I've made a start on this, and what I'm going to do is just randomly cover the wagon in this mixture. And the weathering powder gives it a bit of texture, and the fact that there's a bit of paint mixed in as well. You'll see when I start to take this off, it just leaves like these really nice random patterns on the metal body. So I made sure that I found a load of reference photos to go off here as well, and it's plain to see that you literally can't overdo these wagons when it comes to weathering. They were so rusty and so filthy, even in the 50s. Of course, you have the odd newer one that was a bit cleaner too. So I'm going to try and vary them quite considerably. There's quite a lot of detail on this, so I had to wedge the brush right underneath to make sure I wasn't leaving any clean areas there. But this is the finished product, so it looks pretty strange at this point. I'm just working in a little bit of weathering powder there, but this is all of them done up to this point. So now I'm going to get my fibre tip pen. I got one of these off Amazon for I think £3 or £4, and I'm just going to take some of the rust that I've added off, and this also gives the wagons a bit of a shiny texture to them, which I think looks cool as well. So how much you would like to take this back is entirely up to you, but I just take a decent amount off on some and leave others a bit more heavily weathered. So this is very satisfying. I love doing this. You just have to be a bit careful around the decals, because if you really blast them with the fibre pen, they might come off, but they seemed that I didn't have that issue. I went over them with the pen and they stayed on fine. So I'll show you what this looks like when I've finished. That's the finished effect you get with the paint and the weathering powders. I just think it looks really realistic. It's great. That's the other side, so it's very different. I haven't done the ends yet. I still need to do that. Yeah, I love doing this technique. It's very easy. So I've now done this for all of the wagons, and I'm going to blend all this in together using my airbrush, which is all going to bring it together and finish the look. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to get the locomotive on the bench. Now the gloss has dried. I've left the loco for 24 hours. And I'm going to give this a blast, first of all, with some rail match frame dirt. So I'll be back as soon as I've finished doing this initial coat on the rolling stock. Right, we're back. So this is how they're looking after I've just finished with the airbrush. Heavier on some, lighter on others, and it's blended everything together, which looks really nice. So for the interior of the wagons, I'm just going to get some rust weathering powder that I used in the last section. I'm just going to give the interior just a general once over with this, just to add a bit of variation in colour. I'm also going to add a coal load to the engine because these don't come with a coal load fitted. Rather than fill in the whole bunker, I'm just going to stuff a bit of tissue in there, then put the coal on top. I'm also adding a crew. The crew is from Model U, who I've fitted in most of my engines, and they're excellent. So the cab, taking off the cab roof makes that so much easier. Going to just stick a bit of Geoxenix glue into the bunker just to wet the tissue, and I'm just going to put the coal straight on top and cover that up so you don't see anything. Then I'll put a bit more glue on top, and it's worth putting a few drops of washing up liquid in with that glue as well, just so it breaks the surface tension, else it will go a bit funky. Again, just going to add a bit of loose leftover coal dust in the bottom of these wagons, so just going to splodge a bit of glue randomly into the bottom, and then I will sprinkle in a bit of coal. And then lastly, to finish off the engine, I'm just going to clean the smoke box number and the buffer beams with some isopropyl alcohol, just to take the weathering back there a bit and brighten up those areas that would have been cleaned. And then here is the finished article on the layout. So here's the finished article back on the layout. So I'm chuffed with this. It's great. It's another gem really from Accurascale, and I'm really excited to see what they've got coming next. Particularly the Austerity, which is the next steam release, and the pannier tank as well, which I think is actually due before that. Both are looking really, really nice. So yeah, it looks awesome now. It looks really cool now it's weathered. I love the way you can see the crew in there. It looks great with the wagons too. Yeah, just absolutely love it. So I've got a affiliate link in the description for Accurascale if you're interested in picking some of these wagons up, or picking a J68 up, or one of the other variants that Accurascale have for sale. You can use that link, and I think you get a small discount, so it's worth considering. But yeah, absolutely recommend this, and I'm looking forward to getting some footage of the engine running on the layout. So I'll leave you with a few stills and a bit of footage of the engine running, but again, affiliate link for these in the description. The link for the free trial for Reedley is in the comments and also in the description, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching as always.